right, joining me now, Matt Schlapp, chairman of the American Conservative Union, Raheem Kassam, former editor-in-chief of Breitbart News London, and Monique Presley, Democratic strategist. All right, guys, I love the graphic. Girls Gone Wild. Remember that? Well, that's a wild show. The Progressives Gone Wild. Kind of a little fun. You got to laugh, you know. Matt, you know, my feeling is it's kind of easy, and I've fallen into that, to kind of like brush people off. Oh, Ocasio-Cortez, ah ha ha, she's so funny. But I said at the very beginning, it's really impressive that she goes from being, you know, she was working in a coffee shop.
Right.
You know, fairly modest means.
Yep.
And she takes on this very liberal, you know, Crowley, Congressman Crowley, third in leadership in the Democratic Party.
Right.
And she just organizes the heck out of it and rolls right over him. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like the fact that she's like, you guys lost to Trump. I'm going to help take this party in a new direction. I kind of admire that. I mean, her little tweet about me is just, I mean, I think she's probably, I mean, my authentic self, I mean, she's questioning my own truth, I think. As a single woman, I felt so offended by what she said about me.
I mean,
woman to woman.
She should come on your show.
I think you'll do
just fine.
We called her. We tried to get in touch with her, but haven't heard back. Would love to have you on. Would have a good conversation, actually. But I don't think it's smart for conservatives to kind of ridicule her, really, or to write her off as some anomaly. I don't think so.
Look, we have CPAC coming up here in less than 50 days, and what's happening on college campuses, but also high school campuses and younger, is this radicalization of the education establishment. And look at the results. Look what's coming out of it, Laura. She has advanced, expensive degrees, and she doesn't seem to know basic fundamentals about constitutional government, American law, and economics. I'm not mocking her. I actually fear, because it's working. People are listening to this. They're listening to the siren song. We need to wake up, and we need to educate our kids to push back on this radicalism, because America won't be the same if we don't win these battles.
Monique, is this enough, the California New York coalition? Obviously, a lot of people in both states. But is that enough to drive the party back into the heartland, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, states they obviously need to win?
Look, we have to win everywhere. And I'm not in favor of us just winning on coasts. I'm not from a coast. I'm from Texas, deep in the heart of Texas.
Good. I already like you.
So I believe that you have to have a message that speaks to everyone.
Does she speak for everyone?
But I don't think the message that Matt just gave us about the poor girl who really doesn't understand things like economics will work when we have a president who serves hamburgers but can't spell it. I mean, do you put ham and then burger and then will it be easier?
Well,
will that not be?
Yeah, but that's a snide comment. I mean, that's what people do.
Well, if he only misspelled one thing, it would be petty.
Do you really want to go there
on
spelling and grammar? Do you really want to go there?
Because I can go through, and I know you can spell.
I can go through AOC's tweets. I can go through Nancy Pelosi's.
I'm not such a good speller.
That's really where we're going. That's not your best argument.
He's a 70-plus-year-old billionaire, and she's the youngest person to ever be a member of Congress.
I just said we should take her seriously.
So here's the thing, and I think we should, but when we look at mistakes, like I said, we need to look at mistakes from the person who has the highest office in the land, who regularly makes them.
But you're actually making a point that I think reinforces what I was saying earlier in an odd way. I said you should take her seriously. And I'm saying, I mean, I don't think she's returning the favor to someone who's kind of worked her way up through the media. No one really gave me anything. I worked my tail off for what I have. So her little snide little comment about, you know, being a bigot or it's just she's better than. Hold on.
It was Tucker.
No, but she threw me in.
The clip was about Tucker. She kind of threw you under the bus with Tucker.
Yeah, but conservative women never sort of get their due. It's only liberal women who get their protection. That's fine. I'm like,
like Maxine Waters.
But honestly, but I think your point about, well, Trump doesn't know how to spell or his tweets. Okay, fine, but if Trump is that dumb, as the liberals say, boy, how do you guys not beat him? You had Hillary, Obama supporting him. You had all of Hollywood. You had all of the entertainment
but for the
news
Russian
industry.
assist, I think we would have beat him.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Go figure.
I'm not from deep in the heart of Texas, right? I'm from the United Kingdom, where we have had now in charge, and my parents are from Tanzania, and we have had in charge of the Labour Party now a hardline socialist, Jeremy Corbyn, and you guys need to take Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The Democrats need to take a more serious seriously and treat her as more of a danger than conservatives do. Because actually what Jeremy Corbyn has done in the Democrat Party, in the Labour Party rather, he cannot get his party to take power. Even if he won an election, he wouldn't hold the confidence of Parliament at the moment. And if you allow somebody who's clearly read Rules for Radicals and who's clearly well versed on Mark Lillard's Once and Future Liberal to take over both the cultural, and she's very good at the cultural, take over both the cultural and the policy orientation of the party, you won't get those reins back.
Right, she's very good and she's very smart. But I love that we're here discussing this a day after Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, right? Sure. Because he was considered fringe. He was considered very good at the cultural. He was considered.
He came from the church. He came from the church.
It doesn't matter where you come from.
And he was a nationalist.
He was
an American nationalist.
He had less popularity. He had less popularity at death than President Trump.
And he also was a Republican. So let's go through all this.
Tonight,
so here we go. Let's take her seriously. I agree. But not because she's a threat.
I'm happy to
who else on TV is saying to take her seriously? I am.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anyone on any other shows is to take this very seriously.
For that, I just don't credit it as a threat. I think that
I don't agree. Now let's go into this. Look. She is an amazing political leader.
She's charismatic.
I disagree with what she's saying on policy. I owe it to her to take her on.
But they're not smart. That just means they can talk.
I don't have to agree with her ideas. I don't.
Socialism a threat.
Right. It depends on whether you're talking about what socialism is defined as, or if you're talking about
she's defining it for us. She's defining. All right, but guys, think about
Bernie a threat?
Okay, hold on. I gotta.
There's a host.
Hold on. There's a host here. Here I am.
I'm sorry.
This is what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said to the Washington Post. And I want to say this because we actually reached out to the Post tonight, and we asked them for a full transcript of what they said. In this interview, and sometimes you edit for length, and I get that. But I wanted to see the full content of what she said, but they edited it for space and for, I don't know what. But they didn't give us the full transcript. But we got the printed transcript. And she said, there's nothing about the Republican ideology that is about wealth building or prosperity for the working class. Okay, now, that's really interesting in the Washington Post, because the Washington Post just published a piece in September talking about how blue-collar wages, the wage increases under Trump, the jobs boom has finally reached the blue-collar workers will at last. Well, thank God we're finally seeing wages go up. Wall Street doesn't like that. They want to keep wages down. Trump's policies are constricting the labor market. That's good for regular people, African Americans, Latinos, Asians, all going up with wages. How can she say this is not good for prosperity?
African Americans, Latinos, white people,
lower skilled wages.
Everybody has those lower skilled wages. There are more people who are poor, right, who are considered white.
Are you not saying?
But if you take the wages up,
that wages are going up, are you actually disagreeing with the Journal and the Bloomberg and Washington Post?
I'm trying to explain. Wages increasing is not the same as wealth building, is it? If I go from
how do you save money?
If I go from $10 to $11, that's
or
wealth
$25.
building. If I go from renting to owning,
so let me
that's wealth building.
Well,
so
Laura, let me have a shot here.
Really
Did you own a house the first moment you started working? I mean, I was doing
Let me have a shot here. Look,
it takes a while.
You have to check with people of color, and you have to know the numbers to know.
Look,
fair enough, but we.
All right, hold on.
Own houses later when they are of color. Do you know what the phrase "run train"
means?
The phrase what?
Run train. Do you know what it means?
What does run train mean?
She says, and I quote, "I'm 6 days into the term, and you already used all your ammo." Talk about Republicans discounting her. "So enjoy being exhausted for the next 2 years." I kind of like that. She's just daring them. I kind of like that. But then she said, "While we run train on the progressive agenda." Law enforcement analyst James Gagliano today says, as someone who speaks live on air, who without a net, understand misspeaking happens to the best of us, but know that no other context for this vile phrase. As someone who investigated violent street crime for years, this is vernacular of felons that I've interrogated, not a sitting congresswoman. So I guess everyone can misspeak every now and then.
It is a particularly violent phrase, by the way, and it implies a lack of consent as well, which is quite disturbing.
Like grabbing them by something.
Well, actually he said they let you, if you remember that implies consent.
All I can say is
FYI.
People are leaving California, New York, and Venezuela. They're leaving all places.
So let's figure out the middle.
All right.
Like Texas.
We're out of time, but guys, great panel, great debate.